Welcome everybody back to Coach Speak. I am Joe Higgins, and joining with me now is Coach Colin Yinger of the cross country team. And Coach, I want to start with some big news concerning one of your runners we've highlighted on the show a few times this season. Talk about the recent accomplishment of one sophomore, Stevie Blair.
Yeah, he just broke the school record this past Wednesday at Alexander. He ran a time of 18:25, which was the school record was 18:26. So he beat it by like a second and a half. They timed it to the 100th second, but he beat it by a second and a half. And one time last year and once this year, he didn't beat it by less than a second. It was like a half second. And this 2 weeks ago was a quarter of a second. He didn't get it, and he was pretty frustrated and grumpy after the race. And this past week, when he first went out, we call it like laboring when you run, and that's when you're kind of struggling and you're breathing, you're kind of labor. And I thought he was laboring pretty bad, and we talked at the race. He's like, yeah, I didn't feel great. And so I was worried he was going to be even maybe over 19 minutes. He just didn't look great. But, he stuck with it. He got to the 2 mile mark like 11:50. So I knew he was on kind of pace, and if he finished strong, he could get the record. It was very doable. But then I was worried he was laboring, but he got it done and beat it by a second, which I was like, man, I'm glad, because you missed it by 1 second twice. If you'd have done that again, it probably wouldn't have been good, because I know how frustrated he was at Fed Hawk. But, and we talked, he's like, I didn't feel great. So for him not to feel his best and to run that time, I was pretty happy, because when you're not your best and you're still running, you got the school record and, he ended up 15th overall, I was still happy with it, because I know there's more out there than for him.
Well, it sounds like there is more out for him. If he did this and he was laboring, I feel like a race that goes perfectly his way, where he's feeling good the whole way, he might set the record again and again.
Well, and that's kind of what we talked about, because and as a coach, I'm glad he's got it, because I think it's been one thing he struggled with his last, 2 races specifically, is he was so worried in the last 2 races to get the school record. I think he stressed himself out a little bit beforehand. And a 5K is no easy task, especially when you're stressed out and you're running that hard to try to break a record. You kind of mess up your splits a little bit, and you don't maybe run your pace you want to. So to get it was a relief off me, I know, and especially off him. Because I now know, his goal is, hey, every time I got to beat it a little bit more. I told him, because you're not going to quit now. Obviously, you're not done. No. You have a lot more out there.
Set a new bar.
Right, exactly. So I said, as the coach, I want to beat it every time, right? I want the record to eventually be in the 16s, hopefully at least the 17s. So I'm like, if it's not you, I want it to be someone else. So I'm like, and I want it to be you. So we got to start beating it every time, to where no one else can beat it.
What was, I guess, you as a coach and the coaching staff, their reaction to when Stevie got it, when it was finally broken after he's been trying so hard?
Yeah, so these races are kind of all out in big fields and spread out. And I was out in one of the big fields coaching all of our other boys, getting them to finish in. And it was cool about how they do it, though, is they do it through mile split, so it tells you, the live feed. And he come by me, and he had about, a minute 15 to finish. I knew that's about where he's at for the 400 left, a little bit less. And I was just watching as our guys were coming. I was coaching them, too. And you feel kind of helpless. Football, you can coach, you can call plays.
Right.
You can kind of dictate the game, dictate the pace. And that, I was just hoping, hey, I could screaming up at him, yelling at him, and hey, you got a chance at this if you go, and get him to believe himself. And he did, thankfully, and he went and got it. And then I was looking at my phone, as 18:25. Like, man, because to A, beat it, I was excited, but B, to beat it by a second, I was just like, this is kind of the irony if he's lost to it by 1 second twice. You're right. And I think that was near there with him. But when I went and saw him, I gave him a big hug, and I was like, does it feel as good as you thought it did? He's like, yeah. So I was glad for him to feel that and just kind of have that relief now that he doesn't have to stress about it anymore.
I was going to ask about Stevie's reaction and him just saying, yeah, it fits. It fits.
Yeah, it fits his personality, and he's kind of smiling. But yeah, he just got done running. You can see he's tired. And also I think it's something you don't really come to terms with. And I don't think, as a coach, I probably get it, and he doesn't probably still. He's been the fastest kid that's ever ran our school history running, cross country. It's something you don't really think about, and it's hard to put in perspective. But there have been probably hundreds of boys, or close to it at least, that I've ran, right? And he's been the fastest of them all.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Coach, bring us up to speed on the rest of the week as far as you were at Alexander. How'd the rest of the guys do?
We got our fastest time as a team, so that was good. We were just over 140, an hour and 42 minutes, so 102 minutes as a team, which have been our fastest time yet. We had, Derek Mason slipped a little bit. He wasn't feeling his best, but he's been juggling football and cross have been tough for him. But, I think he has some more to give for us, which will really make a big jump. Colin McKinney had his PR and got third on our team, which was the first time I think being top three on our team. And he's starting to kind of open up and I think use his long strides as advantage and starting to believe in himself a little bit more. Noah Van Dyke got his PR by 2 seconds and moved up a little bit, which was big. And then Raiden Boney's kind of right where he still need to be. He was like 20-40, right where he's kind of been most of the year. And he's staying consistent for us, which, you know, you got I need at least a few guys to stay consistent, and hopefully the goal is 1 to 2 guys kind of make a little bit of a jump. Obviously, everyone makes a jump is great, but if I can have 2 to 3 guys stay, hey, this is where you've been most of the year, you're there, and a couple other guys make a jump, then obviously that's how you slowly increase our time. He's not falling back on us, which is obviously what we need.
How would you describe your team's development from preseason to where you guys are now in the season, getting ready for league meet?
We've definitely grown up a lot, just trying to figure out to race. One of the things we've talked about throughout the years, relaxing, trying to get them to relax and just talk about Stevie. When you run with a little bit more stress and anxiety, it's hard on your body. You start to breathe a little bit harder, more exhausting, and then also just running as a team. It was kind of felt good at that just after the half mile mark. My bottom 4 runners, besides Stevie, Colin McKinney, Derek, Raiden, and Noah Van Dyke were all pretty much on top of each other together, which is kind of what I've been preaching. Obviously, we've talked about it. They broke up a good bit as the race went on. But even for the first, I'd like it to be first mile and a half, close or 2 that they're all together. And then at that point, you kind of disperse and start running. Hey, that's when you start to race a little bit. But because I know if we can do that, we're going to all close to being under 20 minutes, and we're going to have a great result as a team. But they're starting to show the signs of, hey, believing in each other, running together, and pushing each other, which was good to see. Okay,
Coach, what's ahead of you on the schedule? What are you expecting with the league meet? That's Saturday?
Yep, we're at Waterford Saturday. One of our, right now I'm thinking we're close to probably 4th as a team, I'd say right now, behind Vinton, Athens, and River Valley. I think we can push River Valley a little bit and make it close for 3rd. We're going to have some good races, obviously, but, you got to try to achieve for something, right? And you got to have hope that expectation we can push to get 3rd. And then Stevie Blair is looking to hopefully be the first high school boy to ever all-league. We've never had a boy get all-league status, or any high school runner, actually. As far as I'm concerned, we've never had anybody get all-league status. And right now, he's probably ranked around 7th to 9th, and top 7 get it. But it sounds like there's been maybe an injury or 2 in our league. So, it depends what runners show up, and B, just it's going to be a tough, gritty race. And he ran great at the league meet last year, and I know he'll run with that confidence and belief in himself. And I'm hoping to see him top 7, and just hoping to see our team continually progress.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us, and congratulations on all the success. Congratulate Stevie Blair for us and the rest of your runners, and best of luck at the league meet. We'll check in with you next week.
Thank you.
My name's Loge, and I'm owner of Pidcock Glass in Nelsonville, Ohio. If your home is in need of 1, 2, or even up to 12 vinyl replacement windows, Pidcock Glass can help. Please call Pidcock Glass at 740-753-4527.
Tri-County Career Center helps students build real skills for real careers. High school juniors and seniors can jumpstart their futures with hands-on training in healthcare, construction, media, and more. Visit tricounty.cc today. Welcome back, everyone, to Coach Speak. I'm Joe Higgins, and with me today is Coach Wayne Dickin of the Nelsonville-York volleyball team. Coach, since we talked last, you had Athens, Meigs, and then Trimble this past weekend. Athens was a tough one. But then with Meigs, I thought that was kind of a surprise, given that you got them here at home. All credit to the Marauders and their win down there, but it felt like something was maybe just off for your squad. Did you agree with that, or did you think Meigs was just playing better than I thought they were?
I think a mixture of both, maybe. I think Meigs is a much improved volleyball team. I think they actually surprised us a little bit. I think how much they've improved. She's doing a great job down there with their program, but I think it wasn't a good week for us. It wasn't, I thought the Athens game, we kind of looked flat, and Meigs, I thought we looked even flatter. The communication wasn't there. Unfortunately, that's the way things go sometimes in sports and athletics. You can't play the games on paper. You got to play them on the floor, and, that one got away from us, which we really felt like we should have probably been able to take that one at Meigs, but got to move on from it, and sure. Then we came out Saturday and, still didn't get the win, but I thought we played a lot better against Trimble.
Yeah, Trimble I thought was, fantastic contest in general. As a fan perspective, I imagine as a coach it was not as much fun, but as a fan perspective and having the Volley for the Cure, I mean, there was a lot of, having built the highlight tapes, which you can see on our social pages, there was a lot of highlights from it, but in the end, they were able to get that 5th set win.
Yeah, I think we're two very evenly matched volleyball teams. We beat them in 5 sets on their home floor earlier this season, and they beat us in 5 sets on our home floor just on Saturday. There were a lot of extracurricular things going on with the Volley for the Cure, a great cause. It was a lot of fun that day. Watching our 7th grade and our 8th grade and our JV teams all compete. Two communities that are a lot of times a rival with one another are able to, kind of put the rivalry aside for a day and come together for a bigger cause. So we really enjoy that Volley for the Cure game, and obviously wish that the outcome would have been a little different. But like I said, I thought I had an easier time leaving the gym Saturday with the effort that we put forth rather than how I felt Thursday leaving Meg's. I thought the girls came out with a lot of energy, and they left it all on the floor, and we just came up a little bit short.
Coach, we've talked about this, that given the state of the program and where this has gone with the league victories, the district championships, all those things, you're getting the team's best shots every time out. At this point, you've lost 5 of the last 6 matches, but there's been some really tough competition in those matches. Are you worried at all about the losses going into this week in postseason play, or do you look at it more as, man, we've played some tough teams that should have us ready for that?
Yeah, I do think that our schedule this season has really set us up, hopefully, for some success in the postseason. I think these losses, while they are frustrating, to the players and the coaches alike, I think they have made us a little more hungry, maybe, and seeing we're gonna get everybody's best effort. Everybody knows Nelsonville-York volleyball. If they can get a win over Nelsonville-York, that's a big resume booster for them. So we're gonna get everybody's best shot, and I think we're starting to see we're gonna have to step it up a notch, and I think our girls are absolutely ready for that. Leading into postseason, I like where we sit. So hopefully, it continues to keep us hungry and look for some success in the postseason.
So Tuesday, you got Wellston at home, and aside from the game, it's senior night. And you got these 2 seniors in Katie McKinney and Lexi Warren. What does that duo mean to this team?
I think they've stepped up at some big times for us this season. Coming into this year, they were not your typical seniors because they'd really never got to play at the varsity level before, because we had 9 seniors last year that kind of took all the positions. So they were kind of not, I don't want to say lost in the mix, but they were kind of just, they didn't really know exactly what their roles would be. But I think they've stepped up for us. Lexi Warren had a great game Saturday against Trimble, and Katie too. Katie's really, her intelligence on the floor is really growing every game. She's really falling into that setter role primarily for her, and I'm really happy with where those girls are at right now. Obviously 2 really good players that we're going to miss next year when we move forward. That's
what I wanted to get to, was talking about their journey to get here, because that's not easy to do. When you've played as a starter from maybe freshman or sophomore year on, what role you're in. It might change a little bit, but they've had to step into a role of not only on the on the volleyball court, but in a leadership role as a senior too. And I think just from what I've seen, their development this year has been phenomenal. I absolutely love McKinney's little quick tip. It's my favorite thing on the broadcast. Anybody who's seen it knows that. And then Warren, blocking ability, and then ability to kill. But both those players are so versatile.
Yeah, they really are. And, I feel like, especially with Lexi, if Lexi's on, we have a good chance of winning every game. When she's on, I really think we're a tough team to beat.
4 straight aces.
Yeah, 4 straight aces and some big kills. And Katie and her have a really good setter hitter connection. They've been on the same team coming up through, so they kind of understand each other, even though it wasn't at the varsity level. So they really feed off each other pretty well. They have a pretty good friendship, and I really think that they were like you said, they were kind of just not used to having to be in this role coming in. Lexi even missed an entire season last year due to injury, so she really hasn't played much since her sophomore year. So to be where they're at right now, where they're at right now, I'm really impressed with both of them.
So you still have hopefully several more games with them. But what do you enjoy most about having them out there?
Really just how much fun they have. Lexi is super carefree. She really loves to have fun and just make jokes and things. Katie's a little more reserved, but if you can get a laugh out of her, I mean, it makes you feel like $1 million, because if she can give you a smile or something like that, it's not something that comes easy with her. She's a little more quiet and keeps to herself, but I really just like joking around with them. They're both great girls. They have bright futures ahead of them. Both are very successful in school, and they're always going to be missed here at Nelsonville-York. But I look forward to see what they accomplish, in college and beyond.
So once those two do graduate, what's going to be difficult about what they do on the floor to replace? Because obviously you guys have become a program that reloads, so you're going to replace, but what's going to be tough to do that they do?
Well, both of them play very crucial positions on the floor. Katie McKinney's our setter. And at the beginning of the season, we had Morgan and Katie both setting for us. We kind of switched it when Bailey Tomlin went out for the season. We kind of switched it around so that Katie was our primary setter and our only setter. So we're going to have to replace that position. That's not an easy role to fill at all. We've been blessed in the past with several really good setters that really focus, and they almost have to be another coach on the floor for us, and they have to watch a lot of film and a lot of things like that. So having someone step up in that role will be very important for us. Katie has done a good job. Morgan may step back into that role next year, or maybe somebody will surprise us and we can keep Morgan up in the front row hitting for us. But Lexi also plays that middle hitter position where she gets a lot of big kills, a lot of big blocks. Yeah. So, we're going to have to really have someone step up into that spot too. So filling those two positions will not be easy at all. But, I think we have some girls that are definitely looking forward to and up for the challenge.
So after the Rockets, you got your tournament draw yesterday. You'll face Ripley Union on Tuesday, October 14th at 7 o'clock, but you get them here at home. What do you know about them right now, and how do you think you'll match up?
They come out of the SHAC, the Southern Hills Athletic Conference. They have a little bit of a weaker record than what we have. I think they were 4-9 or something like that at tournament draw. They played some decent teams this year, so I do think that they're going to come into this game with a lot of energy. It's a long bus ride for them, almost 2.5 hours, I think. So that's going to be a long ride for them. So hopefully we're going to take advantage of that. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to watch any film on them yet. But, I expect they're going to be competitive because they've been competitive in almost all their games this year. So, it'll be a challenge for us, but hopefully, we're up for it. I believe we played them last year in basketball in the tournaments on their home floor. Yeah. So they'll have to make the return trip back to us, and I'm okay with that.
All right, Coach. Well, that's going to wrap up here today, but best of luck getting through senior night without the tears and without the emotions to get through that game, and then we'll check in with you next week before the tournament drawing or the tournament play and catch up when we're there.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Coach. For over 50 years, locally owned C&J Tax and Financial Services in Nelsonville has been serving the community with hometown care.
We are locally owned. Our focus is on service, and we treat you like family.
Has your provider network changed? Are you new to Medicare? Have questions? We have answers. Remember, our meeting together is free of charge. The insurance company pays me, not you.
Give David Loge a call today, 753-3376.
Welcome, everyone, back to Coach Speak. I am Joe Higgins, and with me now is Coach Rusty Richards of the Nelsonville-York football team. Coach, another good week in the books for the Buckeyes and their fans, and Cam Sullivan set the tone with the first play from scrimmage going on for that long touchdown. He'd add another one later on. You pretty much were able to control that game. What went so right schematically, physically, that let you guys do that?
Well, it all starts up front with our offensive line, and even like that first play, Cam rolled out. They brought a blitz, like a secondary blitz. He saw it coming. He turned back, and due to good blocking, he takes off running. Alex sprung him there about 20 yards downfield for the last little block, and then he made the safety miss. But yeah, it always starts up front. Cam made a good decision, and I think he had 2 carries for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns the other night. So
pretty good average.
That's pretty good average. Yeah. Real good average. So, and that just opens everything else up. So, started off first play touchdown. Good way to start.
You were able to mix in guys off the bench there, still in the first half before going to JV in the second half. How much does that help with chemistry for getting some of those younger guys in with the starters, and then also for the second half, those guys being able to hold down the fort while you keep you guys rested?
Yeah, we got to that point the other night where, we were going to play the JVs, but before it got out of hand, I wanted to make sure we got trying to get Grant Elliott some snaps. He's our backup quarterback, sophomore, and just trying to get him experience with the old guys. Just subbed him in. No one else. Again, nothing Cam was doing wrong. Just try just in case, because there's going to come a time.
He ran too far the first couple.
Yeah, he ran too
times.
far. He was tired. He needed a little oxygen on the sidelines, like the NFL. But just trying to get him in. We did that. We rotated some different running backs. We got Keegan in there to give Dakota a little break at fullback. Tried to get Noah Arnold a couple carries.
Yep.
Jackson Blake. Got
Well,
Jackson
he ran
as a
hard.
receiver. Yeah, so just getting those guys in, and not just what we call like when we put the JV in, because they're getting to play on Monday nights too. So
Sure.
it's just getting that experience, and we might need to go to them. Somebody's tired, somebody might cramp, injuries happen. So always just trying to build for that next game, and sometimes when you're building a program, it's building for next year. Even though
Sure.
we're living in the moment, but you're
Sure.
always looking ahead just a little bit
Well-
to get these kids all the experience you can, and that's how you. We've been able to most time reload here.
Right.
And you reload by experience and get them out there instead of coming out and, we could play 10 kids both ways and do that, but then we would be starting over like almost every year.
Sure.
So I try to get them in on offense, defense, different positions. And, we rotated Braylon Snyder in some at nose guard the other night, and he did fine. He did great for a freshman. Got Caleb Dobbenmeyer in there. Again, just always trying to put these pieces to, and so that way we can have that next man up mentality.
Absolutely. Without giving too much away, how we doing on health, injuries? We doing all right now?
Yeah, Spillman got rolled up on. Well, we had back-to-back plays actually. Will, somebody got just knocked into him on his knee. He's going to be fine. Probably be a little bit limited this week, and then but he should be ready to go. Next week and so on.
deal.
And then Spillman, a little bit of an ankle. He wanted to play. We wouldn't put him back in, but he kept saying he was fine. But there was a little swelling, so. I think other than that, I think we got out of there pretty healthy. So
deal.
that was the big thing.
Are there players that you're seeing in practice or in these moments in the games where they were able to get in that are that impressed you so far this season?
Yeah, like I said, every day we go. Grant Elliott's one of our first guys in the secondary, so he's always getting snaps with our secondary. But starting off practice, he starts a quarterback for the scout team, so he's always running their offense, and he stood out. Jackson Blake's been one of our scout players of the week each week. Same way with Champ, Champ's been coming in doing the same kind of thing. And a lot of our linemen, they just push us. Caden Schultz. I mean, I can go on. These guys are getting better every day in practice, and it's making our old guys better also. So, and we get to see these guys on Monday too, so which is good. So, I mean, if they go against our guys, they're going to be pretty solid on Mondays after they're blocking Dakota Cunningham and anybody that can block Caleb Layton Smiles is going to be pretty good because he's hard to handle.
Good luck. You got 7 teams right now that can tell you about that.
Yeah,
So.
that's not an easy task.
You got Alexander on the road this week before you welcome Vinton County to Boston Field. Then you close out on the road at Athens. What are some focal points you have for this team as they get ready for the Spartans first and then closing out the season?
Well, one thing there, and I don't think we had any, knock on wood, any holding calls. So touching that stuff up, the extra point, we was much better the other night. I think we was 6 for 7. No, we was actually 7 for 8. So Grant went 4 for 5. Caden Schultz, again, it's the first time he's got to kick in varsity. He's been doing really good for us in JV, so we got him in there, let him kick in front of a Friday night crowd.
Sure.
I tried to even psych him out a little bit. I said, hey, Caden, you're kicking it. I said, look, there might be, 50,000 people up there. I said, man, there's a lot of people up there. So, just try to put him in a little pressure, because you can't kick just with coach joking with you.
Well,
You're
we
not
had
going to want to
50,000.
make that kick when it's 27-28, like the Waterford game or something. So, yeah, we tried to, I don't know what we had, but we had a pretty good little crowd the other night. So.
Well, like I said, we had 50,000 people on the stream. There you go. So
Yeah, there you go. So
Everybody watching.
Streaming, I'll have to throw that out next time. I forgot about the live stream. I'm not used to this new age stuff.
We'll get to
So,
be second nature for you. Coach, as you approach the end of this season, I know you're talking about going 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, but you've got to be trying to at least make the kids understand that they've got to keep that in their mind too, and not looking forward to in Athens, because everybody in the area keeps pointing to that game. How hard is that, or is that something that the kids are just bought into already?
I think they've been around. They bought into. They know. Because like the other night, it could have very easily come out. We could have come out very sluggish, and we didn't. So, but like I just told them, we just watched film, and I said, hey guys, that play right there, that's something Athens runs. Hey, this week we're going to play at Alexander. Some of that stuff's similar, Right now, Athens has a little bit better team than Alex, but it's all similar. So it's getting its practice. So I said it couldn't line up any better. We're going to face like 4 spread teams 5, yeah, 4, counting Megs, right going into Athens. So it's not like we're getting double tight T, wishbone, and then we have to go to this spread. So a lot of what we're seeing is just building us up to the Athens game. So I said, not to peek ahead, but it just keeps building. So we're going to get a lot of practice and just trying to get honed in on taking away some of those short passes, those little sideways passes, and then obviously still stopping the run because these teams can all pass, and Athens just happens to do a little bit better than Wellston or Alex. And so, hey, they know it's coming. We can't hide it from them and act like it's not coming. So, but, we do what we're supposed to do. Athens does. It looks like we're on a collision course to be 9-0. And problem is, it's just whoever goes 1-0 is going to put more paint on the wall. So.
That's right. So, Coach, good luck on your goal to go 1-0 once again this week, and we will check in with you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.